Hello there, everyone. This is David Jones, and this is the Late Night with David Jones. Today, we're going to be discussing spoilers for the movie Justice League. I have a guest with me. I have Josh Richardson. I have Carl Wise.
Hello, hello.
And I have Reggie Jackson with me.
How you doing, David?
And I just want to talk about the bad, we're going to talk about the good, and we're going to talk about the Easter eggs that we've caught in the movie. And just going to jump right into it. Reggie, Carl, Josh, what about the bads for the movie?
It wasn't long enough.
That's valid.
This is probably the biggest problem I have for that movie right now. It just was not long enough. It needed to be the roles needed to be switched, honestly, from Justice League and Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't their fault, though. That wasn't their fault. It's WB. They didn't have enough faith from what Batman vs Superman did, so they just kind of let it in there that there was only going to be 2 hours max. I guess it was kind of a prove-it movie to say if you want longer movies, you do good on this one, which by the Rotten Tomatoes is not looking too good right now.
Critic-wise, but every critic I've seen and I've watched and read, they've given it positive and fresh reviews.
I would hope that the world wouldn't be tainted by Rotten Tomatoes and let them run the world, because they've held it back for a long time, and then you would just see people who would really love Marvel movies and they're just comparing DC to Marvel and what the reviews were for Marvel and what they're going to do for DC. I think that may have maybe either tainted some people's ideas or changed their mind about some things. But I don't know. I thought it was a good movie.
I really enjoyed the movie. And back to the whole Marvel comparison thing. It because of Marvel, it gave DC the double-edged sword of pretty much. Oh well, they need to make all 6 of the movies solo movies, and then Justice League. While but then they're like, oh, Marvel, they're just copying Marvel. But now that they didn't do that, they're like, well, they should have done that. So it's really no winning to that situation.
To be honest, as you saying that, I honestly can't really see a standalone Cyborg movie.
You're hating, man.
I would love to see it. I just don't see what they could do for it.
There's a couple of villains they could bring into the Cyborg movie that would make it interesting.
So you didn't feel like Cyborg? I felt like I was watching the Teen Titans Cyborg right in front of me. His voice was so articulate, like so powerful when he spoke and everything that he was saying. I didn't mind the CGI at all. I know it's a good thing.
That was the thing for me for Cyborg was the costume they chose for him.
Right.
When I first saw it in the trailer and everything, I was like, that CGI looks bad. But when I saw the movie, I realized it was that bad because he wasn't fully connected with the mother box.
Right.
So after that point, I was like, I'm cool with the costume.
Right.
The thing with Cyborg I had an issue with was how fast he mastered that tech.
I don't know what it was.
Or how fast that tech kind of came to be. Because one minute he's like looking at photos of him in his football uniform, and
That isn't even what happened. He was literally just sitting down, and next thing you know, photos of him popped up, and then photos of Bruce Wayne popped up.
I don't know how that works.
And then photos of Bruce Wayne as Batman popped up.
So my only thing about that was Cyborg has the ability to tap into all the stuff in
he's Ultron.
the world.
He's basically Ultron.
He's better than Ultron.
I agree.
Cyborg's ability to connect to technology is it surpasses Ultron light years away.
Wow. For those of us who don't know, Joshua has not seen the movie, so he's hearing our reactions, just thinking the unbelievable that Ultron can't possibly be good at the
Yo, I do have a question for y'all though. I mean, I was kind of wondering. You guys were talking about how Cyborg adapted to his technology really quickly. That was my question for y'all. In terms of pacing with the characters, they didn't have the full movies for. How do you think they took in terms of time introducing those characters and their abilities into the story? Do you think they took enough time on it movie wise?
Some were better than others, honestly.
Absolutely.
I think Cyborg's had the best story development, but that's because he had to.
We didn't see him in a cameo like the Flash did in Suicide Squad. It was just straight up just brand new Cyborg. So I think he needed that, but I really enjoyed it.
Honestly, to be honest, the person who I honestly think got the short end was Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, yeah, he went to go to the village. He talked to him like for 2 seconds, and then that's basically they talked for like 5 minutes, and he said leave. And my biggest problem was when Aquaman went to Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
That was the last time you saw it.
But
What's her name?
Mira.
No, that's a whole other section.
He literally went to talk to Mira. It's like, I know I haven't been here forever, but I need something. And that was the end of the scene.
But my thing about the whole Aquaman not getting a full-on development like Flash and Cyborg did is because we're getting Aquaman next year. So they didn't really have to focus on Aquaman as much because like we're getting more. But we got enough of Aquaman story that we needed.
It's appetizer.
Because we got he is King of Atlantis right now.
Right.
We got to the point where he is still conflicted between land and sea. Him and Mara aren't together.
What?
Him and Mara aren't.
I thought they were.
That was the first time they ever met.
Oh.
I don't know about met.
No, that was the first time they ever met. Was right there. Was that first time? She even mentioned we meet at last. I heard.
I guess I missed that line of her saying that.
That was the first.
So
time
he's the king, and she was just there chilling, protecting the mother box.
Because from what I know of the comics, Mara isn't from Atlantis. She's a part of one of the 7 kingdoms of Zebul.
Right.
And a lot of people in Atlantis fear Zebul blood.
I see.
But I guess they kind of changed that up a little bit because Arthur Curry's mother took
She came part of the role. What was it?
Took over, huh?
She was the queen.
Yeah, she was the queen, but I'm trying to she took her in as her own.
Okay.
Is what Mara said. But again, it's the fact we didn't get much Aquaman into this movie I was fine with because we're getting it next year.
Mm-hmm. And I think the star power of Jason Momoa. I think people were looking at him and they saw Jason Momoa. Oh wow! I automatically love this guy instantly. I mean, I know a lot of people. It's not as close to the comics as everything else was, but they looked at Jason Momoa and they were like, "Wow, this guy is exactly what Aquaman needs to be." So they probably took that star power and was just like, "Okay, we already got people liking this guy, and he's getting his movie. We're gonna start a next one soon."
Another thing I had an issue with the Aquaman character. It's not really an issue. It's more of a. We didn't get really anything of the town he was in.
Atlantis?
No. The town he was in.
Oh, the sea.
Because it's definitely not the town he's in the comics from.
Right. They said he just comes there for every new moon or something like that.
Like, something like new tide or something like that. Okay. But because in the comics he resides in I can't think of the name of this. It's gonna come to me later on.
I felt like he was somewhere in like Norwegian.
Amity Bay.
Oh.
Amnesty Bay is where he's from in the comics, and I guarantee you that's not that town.
Yeah, because that was somewhere in like Norwegian kind of area.
Norway.
Yeah, and I do know that they came out, or Jason Momoa came out and said that Aquaman is in that part of his life where he doesn't know where he's meant to be.
Right.
Pretty much, and the fact that he hasn't really fully taken on the mantle of Aquaman.
Right.
So he's kind of just like Arthur Curry, kind of taking it step by step.
Right.
So I think in the Aquaman movie is when we will finally get him to fully become Aquaman.
Mm-hmm. Question: this is Arthur Curry. That's his mother is from Atlantis, but his father is from land, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, and they didn't actually mention. They never did mention that his father was
No, they did because he made that comment to Mara where it was like my mother left me on my father's doorstep and then left me.
Good, they did say that, but that could be like the adopted father, like the person who took him in.
I guess that's They
didn't actually meet his birth father. They didn't. If you wouldn't actually know that it was his actual birth father, you wouldn't really know that.
I guess that was me already knowing the comics.
You already know. For some people, I had a friend.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Who didn't really know why he was there.
How are they going to do the Aquaman movie underwater? I know on the scene underwater, they had to create a kind of airspace bubble.
I think that was their explanation of how they're going to talk underwater.
I imagine that got to be kind of difficult when a whole Aquaman movie's going on and maybe a majority of it underwater.
I don't think Aquaman's movie is going to be underwater.
Is it a lot of land?
I think it's going to be 75% land, 20% Atlantis.
Okay, I'm behind that.
I don't. One of the story. I want Aquaman to fully take on the throne of Atlantis.
In that movie, that needs to be
Like,
in the game.
no, like not the story arc Throne of Atlantis, but like I want him to finally be like, I'm Aquaman, I'm Arthur Curry, I'm King of Atlantis, I'm taking this throne. And then Aquaman 2 could be Throne of Atlantis.
Okay.
Alright, I have a question. Do you have any ideas on the villain for Aquaman 2? Except one person.
You can't.
I know who
you can't throw him in there that early.
I know who you're talking about, and he has been confirmed in that movie. Black Manta is in the movie.
That's all I need.
My boy.
But like, that's the thing with the villains. If you do a horrible villain, you're gonna end up like almost all of Marvel's movies, where you get a grade C villain. But if you use a grade A villain for the first movie, it's like, where do you go from here?
But the thing about Aquaman and all these, like all the DC is, they don't have just that one big villain. They all have like
Multiple.
couple grade A villains.
Okay, because I know there's always Black Manta. Always
There's Black Manta. There's Orm, his brother,
Oh yeah,
which I think is going to be the main villain.
I would think that the first one.
And
Gotta get
there's
that out of the way.
another person. I know there's another aquatic person. I can't think of his name at the moment.
I don't see them doing anything from the Rebirth titles, so I'm not even going to include stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, they could bring in Nemo, which is a organization kind of set out to cause conflict between Atlantis and the land.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
A lot of possibilities.
because I don't know if Nemo's in the comics prior to Rebirth. I don't see why they wouldn't be.
I agree.
Oh, I had a question for y'all before I let y'all get back on topic like that. Based on the movie, you know how they introduced those three without a movie.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to say do another Justice League film like that, where they introduce more characters without them having a previous development in that universe, would y'all be like, okay, like say they want to do Martian Manhunter in there?
There's only two people. There's only two people I'm accepting to be in addition to this league.
One of them better be Hot Girl.
Who?
Ain't no way.
No.
You can't.
Ain't no
No.
way.
Okay,
No.
time out.
And yes, you can have Justice League without Hawk
need
Girl.
her, bro.
You need Hot Girl.
No, you
you
don't.
need another
Don't.
woman in there.
No.
You can't just have
Well-
that strong people just Wonder Woman. You need some.
In the comics, the original founding Seven League, there was one woman.
Nah, this is 2017. I feel like we need another girl in there. And what's wrong with Hot Girl? Man? I feel like
They're not going to do Hawk Girl.
what are they gonna
At
do?
this point in time, there's only two people I'm going to accept to be the league. Green Lantern.
Yes.
And Jon Stewart?
No,
Or-
not Blue. No, not Blue Beetle.
Not Blue Beetle.
Because at this point, they never, no one's ever called them the Justice League. So at this point, they have not formed the Justice
They
League.
don't have the tower yet.
We got the whole the end scene where Bruce is like, I think a round table right here with 6 chairs, and then Wonder Woman comes in and was like, room for more. There's only 2 people: Green Lantern, Shazam.
Okay.
Those are
right.
2 people that are also at one point founding members of the Justice League, which we haven't got.
And they already planned a movie for him.
Shazam starts production in February.
Okay.
They have a Shazam actor,
Finally got that guy.
which is Zachary Levi.
And we saw a guy with like Shazam powers in the
I think that was Zeus.
Yeah, that was.
No, Zeus.
Yeah.
That's
It-
what my people told
but-
me.
pretty good.
The thing that makes me think that could be Shazam is the fact he had that red little cloth on his arm, which is a version of Shazam.
I would think so because they had Green Lantern in there too, the ring and everything like that. I figured they
Well,
put those
granted,
in there.
you know, you could be right about that because Shazam powers is technically powers of the gods,
And Zeus is one of those gods.
Right.
and I think the Zeus god and Shazam's god are 2 different people.
No, Shazam has the power of Zeus.
Okay.
Because the Z in Shazam, because each letter in Shazam stands for a different god.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Wisdom
Don't ask me. I don't know all of the.
Wisdom.
You might. It might. Z might be Solomon.
I don't know, bruh.
Solomon.
While we're talking, I will.
Solomon.
Please look
Wisdom.
this up.
But yeah,
Solomon. That's what the S is
each
for.
letter of the Solomon's S.
Yeah,
Okay,
Solomon is the
it might be
Wisdom Solomon.
but yeah, each letter of Shazam stands for a different god.
Okay, so yeah, it could be, and this was set thousands of years before time.
Right.
Hey, funny thing, it could have been Black Adam who was.
Shout out to The Rock, man. Amen.
That could have been.
They're
Black
not
Adam.
they're not putting the Rock as Black Adam.
It's already been
He is.
confirmed.
Actually, I think he is, but he's not going to be in the first Shazam movie. However.
No,
gonna
he's
be a
not.
Standalone.
He's
Black
actually
Adam movie.
no.
No.
What was it?
Right now, at the point, I can't think of the doctor's name. That's the villain for Shazam, but he's being played by Mark Strong. Black Adam is being looked at to be in the Suicide Squad 2 as the villain,
Oh wow.
which I will accept that over Enchantress any day of the week.
Oh, that's another good question. Yo, how did they do my boy Steppenwolf, bro? How did they set him up?
I'll get to Steppenwolf in my soon because he is in my negatives.
Ah, really? All that though.
But while still talking about this, what other negatives do y'all have about this movie before I talk about my big negative of this movie?
Negative. I don't know, man. I'm a big DC fan. I think competition is healthy, and I want them to do good. I think King Carl was right. It's a little too short, but I don't know, man. I think that might be it. I don't find a lot of super negative. I mean, I feel like the way they brought back Superman.
That's also one of my negatives.
The mother box, the thing. I thought it was kind of cool, but in my head, it makes me delete. Okay, so if you have Superman die in the movie before, and he came back with the mother boxes, what's to stop them from keep doing it over and over and over again, and bring back all the other members, and nothing is ever permanent because they can just bring it back with the Dragon Balls. I mean the mother boxes, and they're just gonna wish them back to life. It's kind of like what's really at risk
Okay,
here.
So they wait.
Okay, so my issue with that is like I was cool with what they did after the rebirth of Superman.
Oh man,
When Superman, and it's in my positives, but when Superman comes back and we get that fight with the League, I thought that was a great fight.
Oh man,
I am mad we didn't get the black suit
right
for Superman.
Big beard, didn't get it.
Surprised at that, and the fact that they brought them back using that, and with no explanation really of that, like, kind of thing of like, oh, we're just going to use the mother box and kind of rebirth them, which some people have brought to my attention that it's kind of just like what they did with Zod and Doomsday.
Right.
However, why couldn't you just use the Codex like in the comics and have him come back? Because we got that scene at BVS where it kind of zooms into the coffin and the dust, sand, whatever.
It was essentially for nothing. It was
it made that entire scene pointless.
Yeah. They even showed it again. I think they even showed it again in the movie.
I don't remember that.
No.
But they had it in there. They had the dust moving up for nothing because when they took Superman's body out of the thing, he was lifeless. He had a nice little blue suit on, didn't move, didn't have a twitch, nothing. He was absolutely, completely dead.
I do like how they kind of mention it's like his body won't decay.
Right? Well, they did that?
Yeah.
What'd they say?
Yeah, they literally like
because like his body, his Kryptonian blood on Earth, his body won't decay, but it won't decay as
rapidly as a normal human would.
Okay.
But yeah, that was definitely one of my negatives about it. But other than the rebirth of Superman and how they did it, Superman's a positive for me.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I was
Really?
maybe a little like when he came back, I didn't get that feeling. Everybody knows the feeling I'm talking about. Like when you see him come back and you've been waiting for this many years for him to arrive, and then he comes back, he opens his eyes. I didn't get that feeling.
But that's another issue.
Right.
Is there was no feeling in this movie.
The impact, or like Superman, or throughout the movie.
Like because the whole battle with Steppenwolf and everything, I didn't feel
threat.
Yeah,
Superman was more of a villain when he was fighting the Justice League
in 5 minutes
than Steppenwolf was in the whole movie.
And I want to point out, I did enjoy Steppenwolf going to the Paradise Island, Themyscira, and just wrecking.
Destroyed those Amazonians. They tried their best. They were out there. They were trying to put in work. And he came in with his axe, slaughtered them in half, destroyed the temple full of women. He was in there. He was putting in work.
No women's rights, bro. Wow.
Okay, while I'm on the topic of Shazam, because I'm trying to... I just found it. S is for Solomon.
Okay.
H is for Hercules. A is for Atlas. Z is for Zeus. A is for Achilles. And M is for Mercury.
Okay.
So yeah, Shazam and Green Lantern are the only two people I will accept for Justice League 2.
No Martian Manhunter, bro?
Not right now, but I'll talk about Martian Manhunter later on in this episode.
A lot later on in the episode.
A lot to do.
Yeah.
But any more negatives y'all have to speak on?
Last negative. There, to go with Carl's point, that was too short. There were so many scenes that just from the trailers were taken out. We didn't see the part where what's his name, Alfred was looking over there and he was like, "I just hope you know it's too late."
He said you will come.
Yeah, he said I did.
It was Superman.
Totally
It was Superman.
The part where Cyborg came out and destroyed the car and said, "You should probably move." I don't think that happened at all in the movie.
What? That was in the trailer?
It was a trailer. He like shoulder ran into a car and then he was like, "You should probably move." He was talking to a random pedestrian trying to save him from a car.
I guess I must have been in the trailer. I didn't see.
Oh yeah, it was in the trailer. And a lot of this stuff, it was just missing from the movie, and I could see it. Like a lot of the stuff that hyped out, I mean, they had that part in the cornfield, but did they have the part where he said, I guess that means you're... Did they make that exclusively for the trailer? When they said, I guess that means you said yes.
No, it was in the movie and the trailer, but it was...
Taken out.
In the trailer, it made it seem like it was a dream sequence.
Right. And it wasn't
in the movie, he didn't say, you kept the ring.
Right.
But we saw the ring on her hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that scene, I was cool with them taking out. Like, I wasn't too...
Mm-hmm. It's not going to kill the movie.
But another issue I have is Steppenwolf. It's the same issue I have with Hades, or Ares, on Wonder Woman. The CGI used for Steppenwolf was bad.
He looked like...
They could have easily just went... they could have just went physical...
He looked like Doom. Like you remember that old video game Doom? Like the game.
Oh yeah.
He looked like straight up a PS1 graphics playing Legacy of Kain on the PlayStation.
Really quick though, kind of like walk me through the plot of the movie though, for like someone who hadn't seen, like a quick synopsis though, because we're jumping through points.
So basically, the whole premise of Batman figure. Because of Lex Luthor, he has these 3 little boxes he sees, and he's figuring out, we're having aliens coming into our city. He meets one of them, and he encounters one of Steppenwolf's scouts after Superman dies, and he's like, something's coming. Don't know what it is, but I need a team. So, he goes out and recruits Wonder Woman. He recruits Flash. He tries to recruit Cyborg and Aquaman, and yeah. So he goes out and recruits them. They eventually come together because they see something's going down. But in the meantime, Steppenwolf's coming back for the mother boxes. And we got 3 of them that's been hitting on Earth. So apparently the first war that happened between Steppenwolf and Earth happened like a millennium ago. Like
it was ancient times.
History. And this was between apparently they had Thanos.
They had the Amazonians, Atlanteans, and man.
And humans. And they even have gods, like Mercury, or not Mercury.
Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam. I think Artemis was there. Not Artemis,
Green Lantern was in there too.
Yeah, a Green Lantern was in there.
See, I thought there was 2.
Yeah, I think there were 2.
I honestly thought there was 2 because we got one flying and then we got one down on the ground that did not look like the one flying.
Yeah, I think there were 2 different
this
Green
sounds
Lanterns.
Really good. I think that was for fan service. So they threw that in there. They didn't have to, but they knew we wanted.
Oh, I don't care. I saw a Green Lantern construct.
He got whooped, but
I'm
you saw
more
the ring.
interested in the ancient war than this right here.
That was between Steppenwolf and every single person. Earth, gods, space, everybody between the first world.
Dang, they got
and they whooped his
they got in there.
Yeah, and the mother boxes got left there because he couldn't leave.
and they left one with the Amazons, one with Atlanteans, and then one with. And I assume the Amazons and Atlanteans hid it on Earth without man knowing.
They're on Earth with them.
Well, yeah, but like I'm saying, like kind of hid it.
Yeah, no.
Because like Atlantis and Paradise Island, they're on Earth technically, but they're not on Earth.
No, yeah, that's what they said. They hid them from each other. So the Atlanteans had been in charge of theirs, so they kept the secret from everybody. The Amazons had their secrets, and then they just buried it.
We didn't have much. We ain't got no super secret.
Yeah, we don't have that much.
It was a medieval time. It was like Game of Thrones. We had
gonna bury this.
We ain't got no technology.
So they just buried it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Then out of nowhere, Steppenwolf comes, takes the mother box from the Amazonians, destroys a whole bunch of women along the way, gets out of there. Next thing you know, he's going to Atlantis. Aquaman already said no to Batman. He's down there swimming. All of a sudden, Steppenwolf comes down there, destroys Aquaman. He realizes he must join the Justice League in order to stop this from happening. He goes there, joins them, comes back, tries to get the Earth Mother box. It's hidden away in the labs.
Yeah, so basically the scientists nowadays, Star Labs, I believe,
Yeah.
has the other mother box because they get experiments with it. That's how we got Victor Stone, the cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
But he's part of it. He's not the full mother box. He's just
He's a child.
From my understanding of it, is Cyborg was created using the energy of the mother box, but he wasn't connected to it.
Oh, okay. So it's different than sometimes in the comics where it's like part of it.
Well, yeah, the comics like the mother box is used to create Cyborg.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought. That's why I thought he was the actual mother box at first.
From Batman v Superman, and I thought the same thing.
Yeah, so that's what kind of confused me because then eventually he comes back with the other mother box.
He's like, I know where it's at. And he's just like carrying a box.
It was in the Gotham labs or wherever it was.
Yeah.
At Metropolis. Something
So
like that.
basically, and Steppenwolf eventually gets that third one. He goes to some random place in Russia and
Activates all 3 boxes.
activates all 3 boxes. Okay, that brings me up to another negative I have.
Yeah, you brought that up and made me think of it too.
Yeah, it brings me up to a negative I have. But again, but in the meantime, they use one of the mother boxes to bring Superman back, and then they go away in Russia to fight Steppenwolf, and Superman comes in and it's over.
Okay, so thank you for bringing Russia up.
Yeah, that's one of
What's
my.
wrong with Russia?
Okay.
Nothing's wrong with Russia, the country.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
It's the
okay.
family we kept getting cut to.
Oh yeah, that was that family was more in the movie.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no.
Oh, okay. Well,
You just had a problem. I like that little bit of
no, like, I was cool. I was cool with it. Like the first thing, I was like, okay, we're getting a little different perspectives. But then we just kept cutting back to this family, and I was like, okay, this family's important,
Mm-hmm.
and this family wasn't important.
I initially thought they were the ones who took that video of Superman in like the beginning that saved the town. You know that 5-second clip of Superman at the beginning of the movie that
First of
meant
all, that
nothing?
wasn't. Yeah, no, that was just some. They were. I'm not saying Russian. They were like Ukrainian or something like that.
Right.
I don't want to really.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really
Yeah.
know 100% where. It's either Russia or Ukraine, something
No,
like that.
it wasn't Russia.
It was Russia?
I'm pretty sure they're like, oh, he's in some small town in
Yeah.
Russia.
Okay, so, but yeah, the family just kind of was there, just like hiding. That's it. And then Flash pushes them away. That was it. They had really no importance to that movie whatsoever, other than the sheer fact they were just kind of hiding, but the sheer fact that they just kept showing up for reasons.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just for perspective, so we could see like people were getting affected by this, and they were the family that
they
chose to
weren't
be
being
it.
affected. All they were just hiding in their house. Like,
Well, then the
At-
things started coming.
at
and they
some
destroyed
point,
their house, and then
the parademons were easily able to break into that house. They
they didn't for half.
They
the
broke
movie.
into Star Labs.
As soon as the movie started, they hit the window, and they were all around the house, and we didn't see them. The whole house was destroyed until the end of the movie. Where
They broke into Star Labs, and you're telling me they can't break into a cabin?
Okay,
They were outside that cabin for a minute.
Can I? I'll give it
And-
to another point about my real dislike I had.
This is all our dislikes. We have some positives too. We
Yeah, we
promise.
do.
Oh no, there's a lot of positives in my opinion.
Yeah. There was just no sense of urgency, honestly. Because
Agreed.
honestly, you would think Steppenwolf coming would be some worldwide cataclysmic event. This only happened in a small village in Russia where Steppenwolf took over, and that was it. Like, he only hit 3 different places, and it had no impact. Nobody in the world knew this was going on, honestly.
Well, sure.
Did
Except this family.
Did Africa know it was happening?
I don't think so, man.
Did Spain know it was happening?
No.
Nah. No.
Then who he invade?
It was essentially
It was the
the
start of
Literally, it was
Domino
Amazon, Atlantis, and then he showed up to Star Labs, grabbed the box, and then left.
See, that's how I know Marvel better, because Marvel
See-
big boy, they be getting them small little
Like, you know,
Okay.
he
European
didn't destroy
countries
any
in
kind of
Africa.
cities, he didn't do anything. He literally just got the boxes. He's like, I'm coming. He knows like worldwide threat coming to like humans of Earth. Be prepared. Steppenwolf is here to conquer.
That's
you,
what I was
anything
about
like
to
that.
ask though. Like, did they frame it like this was supposed to be something where the entire world, like throughout the dialogue of the movie, like did it
with one
seem
line,
like it
with
was
one
supposed to be
line,
like that?
they made it seem like that. When the fact he was like, "There's no lanterns, there's no Kryptonians."
and he didn't say that in the movie at all. He didn't say there were no
Okay,
lanterns.
fine. The Kryptonian is gone. He does say that.
That's all he said.
So at that point we know
He basically said,
He wouldn't
"I
have
got
came
y'all
here."
boys."
he wouldn't have came here if the Kryptonian was here.
Right.
Wow.
Is what that line is telling
Which I
me.
think this needed though, because throughout the movies, it's kind of like Superman wasn't. I mean, we all understand Superman's.
Cheat
Superman's. Yes, he's the best. Basically, he's the leader of the.
He's the Boy Scout.
Exactly. And throughout the movies, Batman vs Superman, you see him getting whooped by Batman. He's not getting kind of the super respect maybe that he deserves.
In Superman's defense on that, Batman was using kryptonite weapons.
he wasn't
Batman
there.
had this one weakness, man.
And
Like
then-
every Superman cartoon villain in the '90s, bro. They all had kryptonite. They all gave it to Ben
Somehow everybody had
Affleck,
it.
boy. Absolutely.
This is a redemption movie. I felt like they got the praise he deserved. I felt like I was watching it, and it really was. He was sitting there, and he's the reason they won.
I
It was because of
don't. I don't know if there was a redemption, a full-on redemption for Superman.
Right, you need Man of Steel too.
We do need Man of Steel
What
too.
did he
Or
need
something
redemption
wrong.
from? Because they were acting like
That-
he was God for the first half of Batman vs Superman now.
The-
So I think they do give him the respect he deserves.
I mean, not the people in the movie. I feel like, as like a person in the movies, people aren't seeing, like the audience isn't seeing him as like, oh, he's the Superman, he's the Almighty, he's the leader of Justice League, he can go there simply just save everything. It was more like he was a little bit.
I mean, I
See-
didn't see Justice League. I can only speak on Batman
For
vs
for
Superman.
me, it's not that he needs redemption for what he did in Man of Steel.
Mhm.
It's we need a redemption on how they portrayed the character,
Right.
Okay.
and it's a right step in that direction.
So in this one, you would say that in terms of the way they portrayed Superman, it's a lot more fitting to the character and his purpose in these movies as opposed to previously.
Yes.
Okay,
Um.
that's good though.
And the best way I'm going to put this is in the comics wise, Man of Steel was the New 52.
Just a reboot.
Justice League is rebirth for Superman, which
Agree with
we get the more I don't want to say jokey, but we get more comedic Superman, and he's not all as brooding and like.
Yo,
It's-
that reminds me. I meant to ask y'all boys. How did it look having like Joss Whedon part of it? Like, did that change what you thought the overall tone of the movie was
That's
going
hard
to
to
look
say.
like?
If, like we can't see what.
Because I know we don't know what the movie was going to look like before he got in, but
And-
did it feel any different than previous
And,
DC movies?
and that's what I was happy about, is the fact that even with the change of directors and how Joss Whedon was doing reshoots, it felt like the same movie. It didn't go from like one movie to a completely different movie.
You feel that's close to the product we would have gotten had it just been was that Zack Snyder, right?
I'm sure if Zack Snyder would be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if Zack Snyder stayed on full, might have been a better chance of it being a longer movie.
Mm-hmm.
However, as long as it seemed like all one movie, I was fine.
Okay.
We've been saying a lot of negatives, guys. We need
No, that was the positives just there.
besides that, we've been saying a lot
I
of
want to bring up one more negative, and it's a very small thing because I know behind the scenes stuff. Throughout the movie, I was trying to figure out why Henry Cavill's face kept bugging me.
What was that? I saw the mustache.
The CG.
There was a behind the scenes incident where, because Henry Cavill was filming for Mission Impossible 6.
Okay.
And Paramount, I believe, is the studio behind that. When Henry Cavill had to go back for reshoots for Justice League,
Right.
Paramount's like, you can't shave your mustache. We need it for the
Right.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, you have to CGI that out. And that's why that kept... It looked the way it did. And I couldn't figure out why it was bugging me throughout the entire movie until the next day after.
I was like, yo, his mustache is really in here, and it came in hard.
So that was my little nitpicky, and we're gonna move to the positives.
I need some positives right now. Speak to me.
And here's one positive I'm bringing into this, and that's the Flash.
Oh man,
I thought the Flash stole the show 99% of the time.
absolutely. I was seeing him. Not only that his powers, but his character. It felt like it was the comedic relief. I mean, we all knew that, but it was funny in ways even when it's supposed to be. Like when he was fighting, one of his favorite scenes was when he was fighting Superman.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we came there. Flash, he's the fastest man alive. He's never seen nobody as fast as him.
Yeah. Let's start off. The Justice League are literally.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Let's start
this
with
is right when they reborn Superman, and Superman's like he remembers things, but he doesn't remember anything past a certain point in BVS.
It's fuzzy.
So he's here fighting them, and I thought it was hilarious how Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman all show up, and then later on, Batman kind of just randomly shows up.
He knew he didn't want to see him first,
Or he couldn't fly to get over there.
That's what I think. I was like, everyone else kind of flew and ran
Get the car.
off.
Yeah,
But-
the car to meet up.
The thing I thought was great was the fact that they got reborn. Aquaman, who is it's not as strong as Superman. Superman is definitely stronger, but Aquaman can hold his own with Superman.
Right.
And
So we get Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we've seen Wonder Woman actually take down Superman a few times.
So we get these two fighting, and them two was like, or Wonder Woman's like, we have to hold him off Arthur. So they go and fight him. Cyborg goes and help, and you have Wonder Woman on one arm, Aquaman on the other arm, and Cyborg on the chest. And then Barry just runs around,
I think he's gonna get the sneak attack in.
and all you see is Henry Cavill's eye
That look.
move.
That look.
And it is
Flash's face was so full of confusion.
That
He
was
was-
the
he's
best
never-
WTF moment I've ever seen in my life.
He's never seen anybody even close as fast, and he sees this guy turn his eyeball, then he turns his face. I don't forget who he has on. He throws everybody aside and goes straight for Flash. Flash's face was so confused, and it was just amazing.
and then he just runs into the monument.
Absolutely.
My next favorite scene about that is when Superman goes to fight Flash.
Oh man,
And we see the fact that Flash is actually dodging these hits.
damn.
No diss to the CW TV show. That Flash would have got hit first hit.
Wow.
Barry Allen was just like, it was close.
It was clumsy dodging, but he was still
He was.
dodging.
I think it was more the fact he was still shook. The fact that someone was able to see
I
him
agree.
run.
I agree.
But the Barry, one, from what I understand about the Speed Force, the different color lightning depends on how connected you are to the Speed Force.
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe white lightning is the most connected to the Speed Force,
Yeah.
which we saw throughout this movie.
I
Right.
thought it was blue.
Was it blue?
Pretty sure it was blue.
We gotta hit the Googles, man. We gotta hit the
Okay,
Googles.
I will look up pictures of Ezra Miller. Even if it is blue, he's more connected to the Speed Force than the TV show
CW, yeah.
Barry.
And Superman was right there with him.
And
He was chilling.
He was
waiting for
keeping
him.
up,
Wow.
man. I mean, we all know Flash, at least in my opinion, Flash is faster.
Supposed
But-
to be, yeah.
But Superman was keeping his own, keeping up, and even he caught him slipping, dog. He caught him slipping. He fell, hit him right into the monument, almost knocked the boy out.
I will throw this out here to confirm the speedness of Flash and Superman. If they're both running, Flash is by far faster.
Okay.
If Superman is flying, Superman is faster. Mainly, I don't know.
Caveat.
Okay, I can
I don't know what the difference between flying and running is really.
I will tell you because there's a lot less resistance when you're flying than you are running.
Okay.
You take a lot more energy to take each step, push yourself off, and then take another step to push yourself off again. Superman, so Flash is hitting himself like a brick wall with a lot of air resistance.
Yeah.
Superman's flying parallel
Okay.
to have a more slip line stream.
Okay.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. I will accept that answer.
You want to get the science involved.
Let him off the hook.
Because I do know that in the New 52, I believe Flash made a comment about him and Superman's speed, and he said it was kind of contradicting because if he's flying, he's faster.
And if everybody stays to the end of the movie and sees that,
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We gonna hold it.
Because I do have a thing about that. So, would you say that's it's kind of bad?
Oh, that might be blue.
That's blue.
That could
Okay.
be. Zack Snyder has that tint though. All his movies are kind of bluish.
Excuse me.
But I think that's a blue.
So okay, even if it is blue, he's still more connected to the Speed Force.
Yeah.
We see that in this movie. We see the fact he is way faster, and even though he's more unconfident sometimes, like we see that one scene where he's like, "I've never really fought people. I kind of just ran and pushed people and ran away." And then we get Bruce Wayne. It's like save one person,
And then you'll know.
and Barry's like, "What after that?" And he's like,
Just say
"You'll know."
Yeah.
And you see it where Barry runs in, saves Cyborg's father, and then immediately runs back in and saves everyone else.
He's like, oh,
That's
okay,
what-
I see. And then keeps going to get everybody else.
There is one scene in the trailer that we didn't get in this movie that I'm kind of curious what was going on in that trailer, and that's when Barry kind of runs. It's Barry Allen. He runs and he like puts through the glass
Oh, okay.
and a very Ghost in the Shell type of form.
Or would have fit in the movie. Or would
And
that have been?
that's why I'm kind of curious what in the trailer what that is really telling, because it kind of wasn't in the movie. I don't know where it was going, but also in that scene series of scenes where Barry saves the people, we see him run up a wall and push Diana's sword.
Oh man, I was super excited for that. I saw that happen, and it was going, and then he touched the sword. As soon as fast-paced motion came back, she went to slice that parademon up like it was nothing.
So Ezra Miller's, which I want to eat my own words right here. I said Ezra Miller should have been Wally West
Mm-hmm.
the entire time.
Right,
Like the moment Ezra Miller was cast, I was like, he needs to be Wally West.
right.
He pulled off a great Barry Allen.
Why you say that? With the sword?
No, just his acting in the movie, I thought pulled off a great Barry Allen. My only thing was like throughout the movie, I was kind of questioning: is this Barry Allen on the spectrum? And the reason I question it was because the way he was acting is similar to the actor in Atypical, who is it's about autism,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that character acts, it was very similar to Barry Allen. So at some point, I was like, I was questioning, is he on the spectrum? That is no issue whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great character.
I love the Flash.
What about y'all? Positives?
Flash, the movie at all?
Yeah,
Positives?
just all the movie.
Just
We're in the positive section.
it was great to see Superman back. It was as short as it was. I felt like I got enough Cyborg. I feel like I got enough of almost every character to want to see more. It wasn't enough that was like, oh, okay, that was lame. All right, that's whatever. I don't care about
Yeah,
this.
I mean, I agree with you. For what they did show the characters good. They did give it. It's just me feeling like there should have been some more to it. I mean, you didn't have to explain the entire history of Aquaman or Cyborg or Flash, but
Backstory.
a little bit more would have helped, like a little bit more character development before they're fighting and everything like that.
I will agree on the character development. I'm going to jump to the negatives real quick for one thing to throw out because it kind of costs into the character development. The scene where Cyborg and Barry are digging up Superman's grave,
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of wrong in so many ways. That should not have been a thing in this movie. However, we get the backstory of Barry Allen and how he got his powers.
Struck by lightning.
And Cyborg explains a little bit more about how he
So-
got his powers too.
So that scene, although I think it should not have been in the movie at all,
Yeah,
it still got the tidbits we needed of, alright, so Barry Allen did get his powers from being struck by lightning and I want to say dousing chemicals. Because he said
it's a little bit more
it was,
complicated.
yeah, so I'm assuming he was dousing chemicals. I don't know how he was dousing chemicals since he isn't a CSI in this movie. But I thought that was a really good scene showing the origins of the characters.
You're kind of right about the grave digging. Honestly, it would have been better. Yeah, it would have been better if they would just right there in front of the grave and just like, are we about to do this? And yes. And they're like, okay, and then just cut the scene where they have them. That would have been a little bit better. You don't need to actually see them digging the grave.
I think you're missing it. I think because as far from the Justice League I've been watching, the Flash needs a friend, and it was more like everybody it seems like those two are the two newest people, and it seems like those two together in the new movies that are going to come out, those two are going to become close and become really close friends throughout the movie. Like, we all know Batman, Diana had their own thing going on, Aquaman's kind of loner, he's going to get himself in there.
I thought Batman was Flash's friend.
I thought, like... he needed him for that mission, but I felt like Cyborg and Flash connected because I could tell that Flash wasn't going to judge Cyborg by how he looked or anything like that, and they were both like, the freaks of what was going on. And I could tell that their friendship is going to grow throughout the next couple movies, and we're going to get really attached to them.
And I agree because there was like, oh, we're going to have Flash and Cyborg instead of having their solo movies be a buddy movie. Because I guess they were supposed to go to the same school or something.
Right. We never got to see that too. Victor Stone as a straight human. That was cut out too.
I'm fine with that being cut out because we got in BVS how he was created. Right. But then in Justice League it was kind of retcon because he didn't become Cyborg until after Superman was created, or after Superman died. Right. But again, with that end credit scene we got, was it end credit scene in BVS when he finds?
No, that was in the movie.
That was in the movie.
Yeah, that was in.
Sorry, in my head I think it should have been that end credit scene. So it kind of confusing on timeline there wise, but that's here and there.
Yeah, I think this is the best Batman we've probably ever had. This is such a good Batman. There was one scene in the movie that kind of threw me off a little bit. There's a scene in the movie where I guess they needed to cause a little team tension. Everybody knows in order to come back, you need to take an L. They need to lose. And they didn't really lose when they were fighting Steppenwolf in the first part when he was trying to find the last mother box. But him and Diana got into a little scuffle, you could say. A little fist, not fisticuffs. They were just a little.
He pushed Diana's buttons to the point where
I was sitting in the movie theater in my mouth wide. I was like, he said that.
Like but it was valid. It was valid.
I don't think Batman would really say that.
No, Batman would say that.
Definitely Batman.
And from what I remember, because the whole audience was talking, I remember him saying something like, "Is this something like Steve Trevor?"
No, it was. What it was she was saying I think it was the same conversation about the morals of bringing Superman back. Yeah. And he's like, well, "Where have you been this past century? Right, was it Steve Trevor?" And that's when you see Wonder Woman. I thought punched him, but some people were saying it was shove, and I was like, I thought it was punch.
She hit him with like a
half cock or something.
And and then you see him fly into the
barrels or
the computer stuff.
Yeah, no, that was not a fully extended punch. It was a half cocked.
Okay, was it kind of okay?
That's why he went as far as he did. That was not a full force punch.
Because I was like, that man should have some broken ribs by the end of this movie. Because
that's why I noticed about that. She didn't go boom. She just went like half cocked punch.
Because he took hits from Wonder Woman. He got slammed against the wall by Aquaman, and he took hits by Superman.
And he took like a throat choking in the mid-air,
thrown into a car.
Which,
all for that.
That's a positive for me was that scene because we get the Batman humor.
Oh man, that was the funniest part of the
Batman's just like on the ground. I was like, "Yep, something's totally."
That was hilarious. This is the part where Lois Lane came. He said he went to go get the big guns.
I thought it was his mom. Ooh. I thought the big guns was going to be Martha Kent.
Martha.
But the fact that it was Lois, I was like, okay, I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. It is Superman's love. I'm completely fine with it. So.
I was cool with that. The whole part was amazing.
Yeah, no, that entire fight scene I thought was great.
Did they beat Steppenwolf like that? Was his mom's name Martha too?
No, let me tell you what happened.
No, it was Martha. It was Martha. Not Martha.
Everything was like kind of difficult. For Superman wasn't there. He had to go get his head together, figure out what was happening, everything.
Have some love scenes in the cornfield.
As well as that transition was a little weird to me. Like he went from about to kill them, saw Lois Lane, and then I didn't know if I was still getting angry Batman. It was just turned to, I don't know what happened. He saw her.
Superman.
Sorry. It was angry Superman.
He always get angry Batman.
Angry Superman, and then all of a sudden he was just nice Batman. And it happened away from
Superman.
Superman.
Okay, that's a real Ben Affleck thing.
I can't help it. Good.
I think it wasn't the fact that he kind of just suddenly changed. It was the memories were there.
Mm-hmm. He was just pissed.
He was clogged. It was
like
shrouded in cloud.
Yeah.
So he didn't remember any of the stuff from Batman
No,
vs.
he
Superman.
did, because he definitely the scene where he's holding Bruce Wayne up by the neck or face or whatever. He mentions like, "Do you bleed?" He said it's very weird. I'm sorry. That way. But yeah, he says that, and then something happens, and he just throws Bruce Wayne into
that over a whole movie.
He also
he didn't mention like, "You won't let me live. You won't let me die. Do you bleed?" That's basically how. That
Mm-hmm. Which is valid. Batman wouldn't let him live. He wouldn't let him die.
He's like, "You won't let me die." Either.
This end battle,
Anticlimactic.
Yeah.
it wasn't that great. It was because once Superman got there, it was like it was endpoint. And Superman didn't have no trouble doing whatever he had to do to Steppenwolf.
I was fine with that. I was fine with Superman not having. If Superman would have came in and had a problem fighting Steppenwolf, I would have had an issue.
Right, I agree with that.
But the fact that Superman comes in here, takes on Steppenwolf, and he's like, "Hold up, people are in danger," and Bruce is like, "Barry's got it." He's like, "There's people in danger. I'll be back."
Right.
And we get to see where Barry's kind of confused on which direction is which.
East, west.
And Superman comes in and makes a comment about his like running,
Mm-hmm.
and Barry's like, "Oh, you're so on."
Right.
Barry runs to get the
Family.
The family we've been talking about
The
earlier.
most non-important family you've ever seen.
and then we see him save them. Which Barry running at super speed with that truck should not be a thing. However, I'm gonna let it be
Why not?
because the next scene of Barry's like, "Ah, yes, finally,"
He felt
and you see
accomplished.
Superman just fly over the building.
Superman was flying. It flashed, ran a truck maybe, I don't know, a couple meters, a couple of yards away. Super happy.
He definitely ran that truck far
Far
away.
away from the damage. He was super happy, super glad. Looked around, trying to explain where Superman was. Superman carrying a big, like, 5-story
No,
whole.
It was like a
Giant
complex of like, and it was great.
And that made Flash realize that, wow, this man's the real deal. He really is over here saving people, saving a lot more people than me. And it brought more attention to Superman that, like, hey, don't forget, everybody loves Batman and Wonder Woman, but Superman deserves a lot more respect than he's getting.
But that's when one of my favorite scenes comes in, when Superman goes back. He's like, "You're still fighting this guy?" And he just takes Steppenwolf out.
Punches him in the face, beating up the parademons like it's nothing. It was great.
So yeah, Superman after the rebirth, I was fine with. Great. The interaction between the team, I thought was on point.
Right. I'm hoping that we're going to leave that to the after credits. Or are we still going to save that? Because his interaction with Barry afterwards, I felt
Yeah,
was,
we'll talk about that.
the whole team. I felt like it was great the way they.
Carl, what about you? What about positives for you?
Yeah, you know, like you said, interaction with the team when Bruce was like, "I will take care of this part of the mission. You guys just take care of Steppenwolf." You know, when he goes off in that solo, his basically suicide mission.
Did y'all hear anything in that scene?
Are you talking about Night? No, you can't be talking about it, David. Are you talking about the original Superman theme?
No, not that one.
Ooh.
When Bruce is like, I got this mission, y'all go do this mission. And he goes into the city with the Batmobile.
Right.
Did y'all hear the theme?
The Batman theme?
Yeah. Did you hear what theme that was?
I heard no. What was that?
It was a 1989 Batman theme.
I heard that theme when he was entering the vehicle, and
But it was also it was either then or it was the Batman the Animated Series theme.
That's what I heard. I heard the Batman and
Because I've heard both. I heard both in that scene.
I heard that. I didn't hear the.
Because it started off with the '89 Batman, and at least that's what I heard, and then it went into the animated theme,
Yeah, I heard the animated.
which I thought was a
Attention to
great
detail.
homage.
We love it because it makes us believe that they're really listening to what we want. We want what we
I
grew
don't
up
know
with.
about that.
Say,
They just have the right
little-
composer that was like, I'm a fan of this character. I'm going to bring this aspect to it.
And it's the little details that make me sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I remember this is great.
Because if they were listening to the fans,
Mm-hmm.
we would have got a longer Justice League
Hey man,
with more story.
they had to prove it. This is a prove it movie, and I guarantee Justice League 2, we're gonna get the tower.
I don't think we're going to the tower.
We're never gonna get the tower.
No, we will.
Oh, Justice.
We'll get the Hall of Justice formed. We won't get the tower.
I need that tower, man.
Give me the Hall of Justice with the iconic table and Shazam. I'll be fine.
Is the Hall of Justice the same thing as like that big ice, or is that Superman's?
That's
Superman's
Justice
lair,
like
bro.
a public area that anybody.
You remember the cartoon where they had all the
Justice.
big old statues and such?
Justice.
Even
Not
that, yeah,
Justice,
they use it. They use it.
Justice.
They use it in a lot
Justice.
of. They use it on a lot of medium forums
Right. I think it was in Young Justice when they had
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but where they had the teleporters.
Does anybody know that name? I can't think of the name.
What?
The Superman's Ice Palace.
Oh, Fortress of Solitude.
Thank you.
Oh,
I had Solitude.
bro.
I couldn't think of the first name. Yeah, no, we would definitely get a formed.
Hall of Justice.
Thank you. I kind of had watch time in my head because of you.
I need that watch.
We will get the Hall of Justice formed with the table and everything, which I thought was great. It was in the old Wayne Manor.
Yeah, that was kind of because honestly, you know that scene where you see the reflecting pool, you see the Superman looking at Aquaman, Flash, and all of that.
Yeah,
That looked like that was supposed to be the Hall of Justice.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly looks like the iconic Hall of Justice. So I remember like reading the speculations like they're at the Hall of Justice now. That looks like they
Yeah.
but apparently it's not going to be at Wayne Manor.
Which I'm cool with.
Solitude,
Yeah,
far
that's
away from
fine.
everybody.
So that was a great homage to that.
Mm-hmm.
But Carl, any other positives you can think of?
Yeah, like the team dynamics again, because throughout the whole movie, Aquaman did not trust Cyborg not one bit. Not one bit.
I probably would have done the same thing. I would've-
I just remembered the lasso of truth on
Oh
Aquaman.
man.
That lasso of truth on
Well,
Aquaman.
I thought it was kind of funny because no one saw,
The lasso.
as an audience, no one saw the lasso get put on them.
I was sitting there getting confused. I was like, dang, he's really
And,
gonna say all
and
this?
Alchemist kind of is very,
Just like true feelings.
and then Bruce is just like, look down. And Alchemist was like, crap.
He was sitting down and gave it back. He was like, Wonder Woman, you are hot.
You are gorgeous,
amazing.
But I don't. He didn't even call him that. It's like we got Barry tripping over his foot. No offense. You have no powers. I don't really trust Cyborg because he might turn on us. He actually said all of that.
And you are hot.
You just hot.
Speaking of Cyborg turning on us, I want to see if y'all. Did you realize who the father was?
Victor?
Yeah, no, not Victor. His father. Do you remember where he's from?
The actor?
Yeah,
No.
Terminator 2.
That's too far
He
away
was
from
the
me
creator. He was the creator of Skynet.
And now he's the wow.
And he creates Cyborg.
Wow.
So that's a little interesting tidbit.
That's pretty funny.
I haven't seen Terminator 2 in like 25 years.
It's been a long time. I'm hoping that this, without going too far into it, I'm hoping that what we saw from here will lead to a future solo Batman movie that's going to be great. We saw the Commissioner.
Oh my God,
We just got
J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon.
pretty nice. We didn't see too much of him, but I thought what I saw was like, hey, this is pretty nice. I like this.
I enjoyed that rooftop scene.
Mm-hmm.
The two rooftop scenes we got, where the first one was like, they go there and everyone, he turns his back and everyone just gone. Bear's like, oh, they
really
just kind of, that's kind of rude.
Yeah,
As he
that's basically what Batman does. Whatever's that.
And apparently Wonder Woman does it too. And it's Cyborg.
Everybody was on key, but apparently not the fastest man alive.
I thought that scene was the scene where Aquaman came in. Because in the trailers you see that scene and
Right.
Aquaman comes in and is like,
He
just
says
like a bat. Dig it.
Uh-huh.
And then we get the other scene where he's like, oh, so you're working with people now, working with others now.
And Aquaman,
Aquaman is like,
just like a bat.
it's like,
Temporary.
not for long.
It's gonna be temporary. And then Cyborg, I like the stuff that's in the trailer. Cyborg wasn't originally in the scene with the Commissioner, but then he ended up being there.
I don't know if he
Or maybe we
wasn't
just
in,
didn't see it.
or he just wasn't in the trailer.
Mm, it was one of those. But
But yeah, no, it's everything about that movie. I even with all the flaws in this movie, I had a great time with it.
and that's what really matters. I think it's like it's not. There'll be some. I think we're only nitpicky because of our love for superheroes. And we want to see certain kinds
Some of the stuff is not
movies.
nitpicky.
Some of the stuff I feel like with Batman and Superman, we're not going to jump back into that, but I feel like a lot of people are nitpicky. And it gave DC a bad name that people it's fun to hate on DC because it's not Marvel. Maybe that people have that sense about it, but I really enjoyed it.
but I do believe it is a step in the right direction.
Which is what we desperately needed.
Wonder
Woman.
Which one was like a leap in the right direction.
Absolutely, man.
And then they were like jumped back a little bit, but then like took a good step in the right direction.
Either way, it's positive yardage.
Dynamics of the team, I enjoyed, although it's similar to what Marvel did with Tony Stark and Spider-Man. I enjoyed the interaction with Barry and Bruce. I thought it was great when Barry goes. We introduce Barry, and we see him go into his little Flash warehouse. I don't want to call it.
His little like compound.
And he comes in and he's like, "I'm Bruce Wayne." He's like, "You say that like it explains why Total Strangers is my second favorite chair."
Right. It was.
And he's like, "I know you have powers. I just don't know what they are." And Barry's kind of trying to play it off like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And Bruce just throws the battering.
I love that scene took like a minute for him to actually do anything because he was just going so slow.
And like, you see the realization of Barry going from like scared to like realizing who Bruce was, and then like it takes the battering to go past him. He's like,
"Wait a second."
Just shake that.
And he's like, "Oh, and can I keep this?"
It's Batman, so I can. You're really fast. In that instinct, Batman didn't know, and then he threw a batarang and figured out everything, or at least what he needed to.
Which
nice interaction.
I thought the fact that Bruce was pretty much telling everyone who he was.
Yeah, that's a little bit different from the normal things because I remember in originals, not everybody knew everybody's secret identity.
I remember in an animated Justice League movie Justice League. No, it wasn't the last episode. It was like the last episode of the first season, I think.
Yeah.
When the Thangarians invaded.
The Hawk people?
Yeah.
That's the end of the last season of
Season 1.
Yeah.
Before Unlimited, right.
Yeah. And that's when they're all like kind of like said, like, we need to go into our human forms. And Wally West Flash was like, whoa, secret identities. And Bruce Wayne's just like, Jon Stewart, Wally West, Diane Prince, this guy, Bruce Wayne. It was an iconic Bruce Wayne Batman moment to just shut Wally West up.
That's a classic. I love that.
So I don't know if that was kind of hinting at that of just telling who everyone was. It wasn't like a huge issue for me or anything, because. But however, I will bring up one of the things I loved about this movie were the Easter eggs.
Like what?
Like. In the battle we talked about earlier with the Amazonian man, we got the Green Lantern.
His ring. Saw a little bit.
I've had some people tell me they thought they might have seen a Martian Manhunter or Martian in that battle.
I wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that scene. You'd have to really think.
So I do want to see the movie again and kind of focus on that scene.
All right, Josh, we're taking to the movies again, Coach.
We will take you to the movie. We won't get 3D. We won't get IMAX or anything.
You get that standard quality.
Because I do know when Thursday night came around, I was like, I'm going to Regal. I'm getting 2 3D passes for me and my brother. Only because I wanted the unmasked Flash pop.
One part in the movie. One small, insignificant part of the movie was for 3D. I saw it for the pop. I saw it for the pop. But as a 3D movie, it wasn't 3D. That's my issue with 3D movies nowadays, is they're not really 3D.
I like that Spy Kids 3D was specifically made for it. This was I think when the sword was coming in the like when the sword was like in there in the batarang, a few scenes were like you could really maybe feel 3D.
But it wasn't 3D.
Just a little gimmick. A little experience you could see.
So yeah, I definitely did it for the pop alone.
This looks really nice, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And then I was like, oh yeah, I got this is one pop. This is one pop for this series. I don't need to collect any more.
Right.
Until someone pointed out to me there's 2 other ones.
You got some cloud under his belt now.
What other?
There's Bruce Wayne with the batarang.
Okay.
And there's Aquaman with the mother box.
Oh man.
Which means I will have 3 Aquaman by the end of I finish that. But again, overall, I really enjoyed this movie.
Solid film.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
now that y'all have seen the movie and had a few days to kind of, Reggie, a little over 24 hours to sit with it.
Why is Reggie dealing with over 24 hours?
Well, I mean, just a little over.
Fresh,
He just saw it yesterday.
Okay.
He just saw it yesterday, so just a little over 24.
My bad.
But if you had to, and I heard y'all say it earlier, if you had to look at what they have planned for the future based on, because I wasn't big on Man of Steel, I wasn't big on Batman vs Superman.
Any of the DC movies?
So not even that, because I really liked Wonder Woman, but
okay.
I didn't want Wonder Woman to be like an outlier and then have no positivity moving forward. Like you see this being their second attempt after Wonder Woman. Does it look like it's going in the right direction? Could you see them building from this and having more great movies? Or
before we go into that, I do want to mention the movies that we have scheduled to come out as of right now that I know of. Is Aquaman comes out next year, Shazam comes out in 2019, and Suicide Squad 2 I think comes out in 2019 also.
You see how I completely forgot Suicide Squad was a thing? But that's my thing though. Like, based on this movie, do you have more faith in these movies now than you did before you walked into that movie?
Well,
I know a lot of people were skeptical about Justice.
I know for me, it's different than most, because like a lot of people are like, I don't know about this because DC, they're not doing too good. I give DC hope and faith that they're going to do good.
They gave me hope with Wonder Woman, honestly. Wonder Woman was my hope factor. Honestly, some parts, you mentioned Suicide Squad. For what Suicide Squad was, if we ignored the villain, we ignored Enchantress.
Yes. Terrible.
I would have liked it better.
If they would have had a different villain for Suicide Squad, it would have been a completely different
Anybody.
It should have been Joker, I think.
It should have been Joker, I'll admit.
Honestly,
but that's a different conversation.
It's a whole different topic, but I liked it. But they just kind of went in the wrong direction with the plot and things like that. Wonder Woman, they picked it up with the plot, story, characters, and everything like that. So I had hope a little bit. This one, it kind of, again, dropped the ball on the part where it was just a little too short. But, what they said, we don't need to have too much since they're all getting movies, or at least for Aquaman, he is.
Oh, and Flashpoint is also on the...
Yeah.
But that depends on how Justice League does and everything.
Yes, but again, he did say Aquaman will be in a standalone movie, so we'll get more information and stuff like that, probably for that. But I do think it's going in the right direction. Again, my biggest problem was just time-wise. It was too short for what it needed to be, but...
So you think these are things that they can build on and make other good movies based on what you saw? Go ahead.
I think that this movie was also in the right direction. I feel like if they can do a solo movie... I feel like Marvel had the gift of having to be able to build upon their characters. Where... It started with Man of Steel. I enjoyed Man of Steel. That was a really good Superman movie. Probably, maybe one of the best Superman movies. Then we went straight to Batman or Suicide Squad. Every movie that they've had has been trying to fit in a lot of people because they're trying to catch up. It's called spade to spade.
I don't know if Suicide Squad should be that example of fitting too many characters in, because that's what Suicide Squad is.
Well, yes, I'm saying, like, I feel like since they started off that way, we didn't have any prior experience knowing who Harley Quinn was. I mean, we all know, but we didn't see who she was before. We didn't see who Joker was. All these people were all brand new.
But that's what that movie's purpose was intended to be, a ragtag group of people who you don't really have too much backstory on them. They don't know each other historically. I mean, we know as the consumer them, but, it's supposed to be that weird grouping. With the Justice League, this being their origin, it's going to be like that. But it's not intended to stay that way. They grow tighter together, which from what you guys have been describing, it sounds like through the movie they kind of get closer and work better as a unit together. Suicide Squad's whole premise is these guys don't really belong together. This is like a situational type deal. So that's why that movie's going to have that feeling. Even the next one should, if they do it right.
For Suicide Squad is based off being forced together. The Justice League as a team is the fact that they all have respect for each other.
Well, honestly, if they needed to work together to save the world.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how they came together, because, Aquaman didn't even want to at first.
Neither did Cyborg.
But then they realized we kind of need to if we want the Earth to survive.
But one thing I want to throw out here as a little Easter egg that happened, is the opening scene of Justice League. I don't know if y'all have seen Justice League War. It opened up similar, where Batman is chasing a parademon and trying to get information on what's going on.
You're right.
The only difference was in Justice League War, it was Darkseid, which we got name dropped once in this movie.
Is my man's coming?
No, he's not
Yet, which I'm happy for.
Not for another 5-6 years.
Well, Thanos, I was waiting on him. so you think I care about 5 years? Boy, I hate.
Right.
So I thought that was really nice. The fact that the way we opened it, which I said in the beginning, when everyone kept saying everyone needed their own solo movies before creating Justice League. I was like, no, we do not need that. And Justice League War is my example, is because Justice League War starts off with them they know of each other kind of, but not much.
Because in the Green Lantern,
he thought Batman was a myth.
They thought Batman was a myth.
So stuff like that, I was completely fine with the way they did. I was happy they opened it the way they did.
Yeah,
I think we should have, myself included, we should have given them a lot more credit because they do a lot more media with their big team, like not their big team, with the Justice League as opposed to Marvel, where Marvel has a couple shows here and there dedicated to the Avengers and things like that. But at least from childhood moving forward, there's always something Justice League, Teen Titan oriented
with DC.
DC.
What DC strives at the most,
everything but the live
is
action.
animated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have their animated movies that they come out with once every year.
They're always great.
TV shows. They're bringing back Young Justice.
We're talking about Justice League Go
and Justice League
Action.
But I don't want to say all their live action stuff because the CW Arrowverse, I think they're doing really good at.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
Right.
What I mean is like not necessarily in terms of live action, just they have a lot more experience with their media and doing the team ups.
Yeah.
And for that, looking at what they did with those other movies, it made me skeptical. But I think, in hindsight, hearing what you guys have said, it would have made more sense that this be the movie they do, because they're more used to making this type of experience where random encounters, like, oh, hey, I'm this, that, the other person, random team up, and then it works. They do that a lot. They've done it multiple times.
I'll be honest.
I'm glad that the movie portrayed it in a good light. Go ahead.
I'll be honest with you. If they would have started this universe off with Justice League, I would have been fine with it.
It would have made sense to you.
I don't know about making sense, but if they were like, when they first came out with it before Man of Steel, it was like, let's start off our universe with Justice League. Have the heroes meet then, and kind of tell separate stories in their own. I would have been fine with that.
Nice.
That would have been. I actually would have.
It would have been different. It would have been different from Marvel.
For that reason,
people would have been complaining, but if they would have pulled off Justice League well, no one would have said anything.
And then if it doesn't work right, you use the flashpoint to just kind of blow the whole thing up. Let's start over and try something a little different.
I'm a little tired of Flash kind of using Flashpoint to screw the timeline.
Let him be the third movie just in case it don't go well.
I can almost guarantee that by Injustice 2, not guarantee, I can tell you by Injustice 2.
Justice League 2.
Justice League 2. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's alright. I've been
Ninja Turtles coming.
I've been calling Justice League Injustice its entire
When we get Justice League 2, and everybody does get a little bit more in development and their own solo movies, I do think that is also important. They need to have their own thing to show their own powers and such like that. I feel like once they have their own thing and they come back together again, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be cameos in other movies, maybe team-ups. But once they come together again, I feel it'll be a whole nother maybe giant leap in the right direction.
I know for the Flashpoint movie, and it's kind of off topic, we've been off topic a little bit, but for the Flashpoint, Wonder Woman has been confirmed. Aquaman has been rumored to be in that movie.
Okay.
There's
Vegan?
there are rumors. I think Jeffrey D. Morgan came out and said he would like to come back and return, or someone said they would like him to return. I think it might have been Ezra Miller himself who said that. And if they get Cyborg into it, which they don't have to do exactly what the Flashpoint storyline is, because at this point in time, Barry Allen hasn't fought Reverse Flash.
Yeah. Because he just make him pop up in that movie.
Because the fact that he's came out and said, I've only ran around and pushed people and ran away, that means he hasn't fought.
Yeah,
Reverse
I
Flash.
thought that was another thing. It was like, he doesn't really show all the powers. I was hoping he would use one of his like tornado
Lightning
abilities
bolts.
or his what was it, the Mach Punch called?
The Infinite Mach Punch.
The Infinite
I
Mach
honestly
Punch.
thought when he ran to he ran away from everything, I was like, we're getting this punch. When he was like with the family and everything, I was like, we're getting this punch.
He's gonna come back super hard.
And because what people don't know about the Flash is he can hit harder than Superman.
Mm-hmm.
He just
Take a
needs
little
to
bit
build up
longer.
speed.
Because we've seen it, we even seen it in the animated series when Barry would like run around the world. And
Oh, he got Lex Luthor out of there.
when he was facing Lex Luthor,
When he was Brainiac,
he was running around the earth.
out of here.
So I was really hoping for the Infinite Mach Punch. I didn't get it,
Maybe next movie.
but there's one more Easter egg I want to talk about before we get to the in credit stuff.
Okay,
Booyah!
I'm leaving.
Carl is literally getting up and moving right now. I felt like that was everybody. I don't know about y'all theater, but everybody in my theater was clapping and screaming like that was.
Okay,
That's what made the
so
movie.
my theater, I don't know if it's because it was 3D or whatever, but I had like 7 people in our theater.
That's because it was 3D.
And it was like a 7:30 showing. He said booyah. I screamed out loud. I was like, yes!
Okay, am I the only one who knew he was gonna say that because I saw a trailer for it?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see the trailer.
Carl
Yeah.
don't even watch trailers.
You guys saw
I
was the TV spot?
I don't even remember.
That's what like a TV
Yeah,
spot.
no, I
seen
did
the
not see a trailer for him saying booyah.
Honestly, yeah, I saw a trailer for him saying booyah, and I didn't want to. Because I hate watching trailers for movies. It just was something.
It's understandable.
I don't really. I try to avoid trailers
I
as much as I
walked out the
possibly
theater when Star Wars trailer came out.
can. Yeah.
Wow.
So
The
yeah,
hot dog.
I don't really care, but I remember seeing a trailer for him saying booyah. So I guess I wasn't that excited because I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I was hoping he would say it, but I knew he eventually would say it unless they cut it out.
My theater lost it.
yeah, no, apparently more people in my theater said, screamed out. I didn't hear them. I was too loud.
It was crazy. It was nice to see that.
But yeah, it was nice to see that, a little homage to Teen Titans.
Cyborg's catchphrase.
Not only that, but his body armor changed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Again, another end credit scene thing.
No, that was in the movie.
Yeah, end of the movie, kind of. End of the movie,
In
kind
the
of.
Because and which I thought was nice because that's when I realized I was like, okay, he's not done.
He's not looking like that permanently.
And then he transformed,
Mhm.
which I think they are taking a nod to the Rebirth / comics where Cyborg is able to transform his armor to different things.
Right.
He's even able to transform it to make him look full human.
Ooh,
The
that's gonna be nice to see.
actor who plays Cyborg, Ray Fisher, shot that out the water.
Loved it.
He pulled it off amazingly.
That is Cyborg to me.
So, with all that being said, we're going to get to the end credit scenes. You get the first one.
The race.
What-
This was fan service to the max.
All the way.
The fact that you see Barry Allen and Superman. I don't know why I can't say Flash. Flash and Superman sitting there
Face to face.
prepping to race, and then we get that one little thing where Barry's like, "Yeah, I've never been to the West Coast," and pointing to one way, and Superman's nice enough to be like,
It's the other direction.
"That was nice."
Straight.
We get the little Rocky ending to it where they just kind of run, or Superman flies and he runs,
Yeah, so in that scene,
which is how the comics usually is with those races. Is we never get a full on confirmation,
Who's the fastest.
except in the Flash Rebirth 2009 comic,
Mhm.
where he's like, "We've raced before, Barry," and Barry's like, "Those are for charity." It just blows him out the water.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's all fan service.
Josh, if you would have seen that part, everybody in the theater, everybody's really seen that comic or seen what was happening. We
If
all
they've
know,
seen
like,
any
oh my gosh.
incarnation of these two characters, they've screamed.
I feel like they did it the way they were supposed to. The second one was serious, but the first one was nice, funny fan service that we all, we're probably not going to get a real movie about that, but it was nice to see them paying homage to the comics of what was happening.
So, Carl, did you have any comments on the race?
Oh no, I mean again, it's nice.
The Flash
homage to it, but I like the comments like Flash is faster if they're running, but Superman is faster if they're flying. And I thought Superman was gonna run with them, but he was
I
flying.
would like.
no smoke. Bro.
I would have liked
No
it
better.
if he would have ran, but I think this is also Superman's still kind of learning himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he knows.
Yeah.
Like if he knew like he's faster, he would like to see who's faster running.
When boots are on the ground, they not touching Flash, man. I've seen people fly and keep up with Superman. Hey, listen.
Superman ain't flying to another time, a whole other time space continuum, but flying.
Yeah. So now we're going to get to this the big end credit scene.
The best end credit
Josh,
scene.
have you heard about this scene?
No.
Okay,
Heard
I'm
about
me.
going to describe this scene to you. So we okay. So here it is. So we're in Arkham, right? The guard, they're telling people to come on, and you hear the guard, Luthor, come on. And Luthor is not moving, and the guard goes in there and turns him around, and an inmate starts to laugh.
It looks like Zaz. That's his name?
I don't know if it's Zaz.
It looked like it. It matches Zaz. The ball is just going
Well,
crazy.
Lex Luthor's also bald.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, you wouldn't know about all the scars on him. But
So he starts laughing, and then we get cut away to a speedboat going to a cruise liner.
Mm-hmm.
yacht.
Yacht. And we get to the guy. The guy steps onto the yacht. It's Deathstroke. He comes on. He gets onto the boat. Lex Luthor is being a more comic book accurate Lex Luthor
Suit and tie.
than he was BVS.
Not no
Was it the
veins
same
and-
actor?
Same actor.
He didn't
but
have
different
no
portrayal.
veins on and like a little frock. He had a
He's not
straight
that
up
whole
suit.
BVS where he's like, and that is how you become
So he
a
was
god.
He was like menacing then.
He was more.
Stern.
I was gonna say
He didn't look like you could take his lunch money right quick.
Nah.
no.
So you're bald is the new phase.
But yeah, we get Lex Luthor, and he's like, "Well, I see they're building a team. Why don't we create our own?"
And
Whoa!
Before that, we get Deathstroke takes his helmet off.
oh,
White-haired, eye patch,
Great big-
Joe Manganiello, Deathstroke.
Oh!
super fresh, dog.
Wait a
So at
minute.
that point in time, it ends there. With
That's
him
why
saying, "Why don't we create our own?"
I lost my.
They gonna come through with the Injustice
Deathstroke.
League type deal.
Here's my prediction: the Joker is the one who broke out Lex Luthor,
That honestly makes perfect sense.
Because
And-
the inmate was laughing.
and he used the Joker serum on him.
Yeah.
My prediction on that, and I think it's going to. There's one or two ways they're taking this.
Injustice?
It's going to be the Injustice League, or the Society of Doom, or League of Doom, Legion of Doom.
The Legion of Doom.
Thank you. I see it more being the Injustice League
Yeah.
because we've already got the Legion of Doom on the DC TV universe.
And the Batman vs Superman when that starts with the Superman dying, right, or something like that.
Which one?
Justice. It starts with Superman like
Well, no.
He takes over because Lois.
Injustice. That's Injustice.
That's Injustice.
Injustice League
Oh,
is the
okay.
reverse. It's like the evil Justice League,
Okay, never mind. I was
and it's
thinking,
it has like Lex Luthor, Joker, Poison. There's different incarnations of it.
right.
One
But-
time they had Vandal Savage out there.
I thought it was Injustice.
Yeah, no. I honestly think I'm gonna go with the
My
Injustice
man
League.
Vandal
Right.
Savage.
The only reason I thought that is because I remember in that scene in Batman vs Superman, which they're probably just going to get rid of now, where Flash came back and he was talking to Batman,
We got that in this movie, where he was like, "Lois is the key."
right?
I think that was when he was like, "I'm getting the big guns," and he brought Lois to that fight.
Well, I don't know. Does that make sense? Because it had him in the first movie. He was like, "Lois is the key" and stuff like that because he needed to protect her. Because if something were to happen and she were to die,
See,
that's when Superman snaps.
I think you could have taken that way, but I think it was Lois Lane is the key to keeping Superman sane.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they did in this movie.
That's usually how it goes.
Because if she wasn't there, he would definitely snap Batman.
But I do want to bring up one more thing, and that's when, because in the movie we see that the Kent farm is a foreclosure owned by the bank.
right.
We get at the end of the movie, we get everyone moving stuff in, and Clark goes to Bruce and is like, "So what did you do to get the house back?" He's like, "I bought the bank."
Real
Like,
friend
he
right
didn't
there.
buy the house. He didn't just easily buy the house.
He bought the bank.
That bought the house.
Yeah,
Must be nice, man.
And he was like, he's like, what? He's like, it was a force of habit. I thought that was a great scene, nice little, but there was one other thing I want to bring up, touching that, and that's back when they bring back Superman, and He's like, something about you did because you love me. He's like, I do not.
No, he said, he's like, I know you don't like me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
He's like, I don't not. I guess he was like, I don't.
It was like an awkward,
you.
like teenage, like I like you.
Like I know you hate me. It's like I
But
don't not.
I thought that was a cool. In my opinion, I took it as like the Justice League animated show because that's how Bruce Wayne would have. That's how Batman would have said it.
Yeah.
He ain't showing no compassion over there. He's like, hey, it's not that I dislike you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
But one person we didn't talk about at all in this review, Alfred. Alfred stole this show every time he was on screen with every line he said.
I think that becomes a problem to me. I feel like I don't get to see Batman's detective skills because Alfred's the one who's being the super smart one throughout the whole show. I mean, the whole movie.
Bruce Wayne has been doing detective skills since Batman v Superman.
Like
Alfred helps. Alfred helps him.
Honestly, Alfred gives him that point of view. You know, sometimes Batman is like looking straight ahead, like everything. Alfred gives him like, hey, take a step back and look at your complete.
It's like Bruce Wayne does detective work in this movie.
Sometimes he just gets too damn hot-headed and
loses
everything.
I mean, I feel like he does some research when he was finding the Justice League, but I didn't see him. Like when I forgot what he said, something about the mother boxes is like these things control something. Something's in them. Is it money? Is it power? And I also know that like money's not going to be in the mother boxes. Aliens aren't coming.
He doesn't know his mother box though.
I mean, he knew there were boxes that aliens from random places across the galaxy, and I'm pretty sure they weren't coming for money.
No, he didn't know they were from. He just knew that they were on Earth. He didn't know where they were from or anything. That's why he's trying to figure out what they were.
And he said there was money inside of them. Why? Even I didn't think like sitting there with like aliens are coming from.
Well, because you knew where it was, but he thinking about it is like these are just. He thought they were containers.
I don't know. I felt like hopefully for this solo movie, whenever it comes out, and we get the Red Hood movie, that we're gonna see some detective.
We will.
Batman skills.
I trust Matt Reeves in his because he wants a trilogy.
Right.
I trust Matt Reeves in giving us the greatest detective.
Does Ben Affleck want a trilogy?
First of all,
let's not talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because at this point we don't know if Ben Affleck is returning. I'm not going to.
Is it the end of his contract? Or whatever he was under?
I don't know what the contract with DC's is because I know like Wonder Woman's contract for the second movie, but Patty Jenkins wasn't contract for another movie. So like I don't know what the contracts DC had.
Gotta get these long-term deals written up, man.
But another thing is, I don't know if Ben Affleck's returning. I hope he does.
They're talking about Jake Gyllenhaal, honestly.
No, he's had one conversation with the director.
Complex News just tweeted out the
That
day,
is
man.
not a good source.
Come on.
Actually, Complex News is the complex in which owns where I get my movie source from.
Do you trust them, David?
I trust Collider Movie Talk with their news because they don't break the news.
Ben Affleck, if you're out here listening to this, we love you as Batman. We need you to stay on. You're the best Batman we ever had. Don't go anywhere, please.
It's from what I've understood, Jake Gyllenhaal has had one conversation with it. They don't even have a short list for who they want for Batman. All they know is they're going to wait a couple of weeks after Justice League comes out,
right?
Which was Friday the 17th. So at that point, we'll get later on somewhere of that. So now that we are all here, going to the rating. Carl, what would you rate Justice League out of 10?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
All right. Reggie?
I give Justice League an 8 out of 10.
Hit. Nice.
Solid 8.
I'm going to go with Carl. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I think it's great. I'm happy all the actors are on board, even though I gave some of these actors some crap for them being cast in these roles.
Mm-hmm.
Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller.
Out of the park.
I've both talked about them being these characters, but they made me eat my words very quickly.
Right.
So I'm on board with all that. I'm excited for the future movies, especially Shazam.
It's gonna be great.
Oh boy, I'll be there for that. I'll go with y'all day one for that one. That's one of my heroes now. Him and Green Lantern.
But with that being said, I think it's going to end this episode, our spoiler review of Justice League. Thank you for listening. Please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below what your favorite scenes of Justice League was. And subscribe to this page for more videos to come. Carl, any last words you want to say?
Y'all haven't seen it. Well, y'all came this close to the podcast. Y'all definitely haven't seen it.
Might as well
I've basically gone and told you the movie. Josh, we're taking you to the movies, by the way. They didn't pay for your ticket.
I will pay for your ticket.
I'm down.
And, it was a good movie. I definitely a step in the right directions for DC. They're stepping their game up, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to show us in the future.
Reggie?
This Flashpoint movie is going to be the best. We're all going to realize that Flash is the greatest superhero of all of DC. It's going to come back. It's going to turn up. Justice League 2 is going to come out. It's going to be great. Make sure everybody go out and see it. Josh?
I didn't see the movie. How am I going to rate it?
You can say bye or something, or any last words,
Go download Sir Ramal's music. Sir Ramal got
I'm
you.
not putting a link in the description.
No link in the description. Go find my boy on Twitter. Sir Ramal got you.
All right, Sir Ramal, you got any words to say?
Nope.
All right.
And that's this podcast episode. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.